Good morning. It is currently, 6:36 a.m. on Thursday, February 19th, 2015. I'm Christiana Ellis. I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. I'm kind of Luna pandering this morning, as you can see. I wasn't originally planning to do this for the video, but Luna was just extra rambunctious this morning. Stop it. Good girl. So, I was originally today going to first do creativity accountability and say that I worked a little bit on my editing project last night, and in particular had a nice Skype conversation with Nobilis Reed, who is helping to beta read, and gave me some good suggestions for how this thing's going to work. Go get it. This is so distracting trying to do this, have a conversation. And, all right, I think she's done with that game. So I worked on that some. That's the accountability there. The other thing, though, that I kind of felt like I wanted to get at is I noticed the other day, or yesterday, there was a couple of articles about how J.J. Abrams is apparently going to make a movie about Thomas Edison, and several of the articles on geeky type blogs like IO9 presented the news right alongside snarky comments about, like, oh, is it going to show him electrocuting an elephant? And this just gets into a slight pet peeve of mine, which is that of late, the geeky trend is to bash Edison and support Tesla instead. And obviously, I think, although there's many reasons why that might happen, I think the oatmeal cartoon, the comic that talks all about that, is probably first and foremost responsible for this current trend. And I think it's great that raised money to do a Tesla museum, because I am not anti-Tesla in the least. Tesla is a very cool guy who deserves a museum. But I absolutely reject the idea that in order to like Tesla, you have to dislike Edison. And I think that it is an easy and reductive way to look at history to insist that there has to be a bad guy in every story. Oh, Tesla wasn't as appreciated as he should have been? All Edison's fault. I think, look, I have a joke that I sometimes make, which is that if you ever want to look smart in a conversation that you know nothing about, all you have to say is you listen to someone make their point, and then you say, well, you know, it's really more complicated than that. And you will always be right, no matter what it is. You don't have to know anything else about it. You don't have to know what makes it more complicated. If you say it's more complicated than that, you will always be right. Plus, it's very great and pedantic and makes you look snooty in front of someone. Obviously, you don't really do that, because that would be kind of a jerk thing to do. But the joke is that you can say that in any situation, because it's always true. So if people want to know a little bit more about some of the stuff behind that particular comic, there's a Forbes article that highlights some of the things that are issues with the oatmeal comic. And then Matthew Inman, who writes that comic, actually has a reply that is a rebuttal to some of those points. And I think if you read both of those, and I'll put links to those in the post on christianaellis.com. But if you read both of those, you'll get a sense of how this whole, basically the Forbes headline is what I want to really say, I think, which is that Tesla wasn't a god and Edison wasn't the devil. There was complicated, messed up stuff happening at that time. Big surprise. and it's really more complicated than that. So I really just reject this idea that just because he was a good businessman, that somehow makes Edison not worthy of respect. You know, there's a lot of complicated stuff that happened, and it's too easy to paint everything in a super negative light. Like, you know, Luke Skywalker was a terrorist who blew up an entire small moon space station, including thousands and thousands of soldiers who were just doing their jobs, and construction workers too. And like, you know, my point there only being that you can take any complex situation and paint it in a 100% negative light, and it'll make that person sound bad, when in reality, it's more complicated than that. Okay, I'm repeating myself now. So check out all my stuff at christianaellis.com. Tonight, we're probably going to record an update to our Oscar movie marathon with discussions of, at least more in-depth discussions of How to Train Your Dragon 2 and Gone Girl, maybe a little bit on the box trolls, maybe a little bit on the theory of everything. So that's it for now. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes.